Okay, Texas, you have 17 propositions to vote on. Election day is November 4th. Early voting goes until October 31st at 7 p.m. There's just a couple last things to talk about before you go hit the ballot booth. Of course, you have my opinions and vote recommendations, but we wanted to share a few other people's opinions and vote recommendations that we found really valuable. This past week, I read a really valuable Substack from a group called Vote No Texas about valid reasons that you should vote no on every single proposition. And I'd also recommend the nonpartisan explanations from the Texas Tribune and the League of Women Voters. I'll link all of these in my stories, and we'll add it to the propositions highlight on our page. A big question we keep getting is, how are we going to fund our public schools with all of these property tax exemptions? That's a really valid concern as well, and I share it. Right now, the underfunding of public schools in Texas is a choice. We actually have enough money right now to do all these property tax buydowns and put more money in public schools, but that might not be the case in the future when we don't have a budget surplus. I had a big frustration with a lot of the policies that Republican leadership keeps championing that doesn't really work. Things like this insistence on property tax buydowns is not real policy that improves the quality of people's lives. It's political fodder to appeal to voters. I've recommended a lean yes on some of these property tax buydowns because the issues like housing affordability and making sure that our elders stay housed are really, really important. But you guys are right. We can't keep going down this road forever. And a lot of y'all asked, like, why is this a constitutional amendment instead of just policy passed through the legislature? The big concern with constitutionally dedicating any funding is that it's much harder to go back and change that later if you need to, if you don't have as much revenue. It means that no matter what, these things will be funded in perpetuity unless you amend the Constitution again. Part of the reason that we have to do constitutional amendments is to get through what's called the spending cap. The Texas Constitution actually limits spending to match the growth rate of the state. So one of the ways around the spending cap is to do joint resolutions and then take it to the voters. There's a lot of things about the Texas Constitution that's pretty dysfunctional, and I think that this is one of them. But either way, that's why these are constitutional amendments and not just like budget decisions that the legislature makes. And of course, we live in a state where we have a Republican-controlled legislature, executive, and really judicial branch of our state. So I'm always looking ahead to 2026, 28, 2030, and I'm out knocking on doors in our district and making sure that we get leadership in Texas that values public health, puts people over profits, and that uses different tools to make sure that our government is funded and that you're getting a great return on investment for your taxes.